For Oslo Navy Blue, the team that's finished second in each of the last 2 CrossFit Games. OBA, 7th for the Philadelphia team that finished 11th last year. No Shortcuts as a rookie team in 5th overall for Andre Houdet and company. Team test number 8. Talk about the worm, we talk about Big Bob. Jeremy, how do we make those things unforgiving?
We push him down the field here at North Park, 126 feet, required 1,188 pounds or 540 kilos. In 3 rounds of the 10 synchronized muscle ups with all 4 team members, 15 worm clean and jerks, something really comfortable. And they will bring the Bob all the way back 42 feet at a time with an 18-minute time cap.
Let's introduce you to the 4th member of our crew and head down onto the field with Lauren Smith.
Guys, this is 1,188 pounds of Big Bob. Now, there are certain teams out there, like CrossFit Mayhem, like Move Fast Lift Heavy, who have replicas of this bad boy. The fun part for Move Fast Lift Heavy, though, is that it only goes one direction. So every time they train with it, they have to turn it a full 180 to go back the other way. But there's plenty of teams that have made makeshift yokes with a push-pull, or have just been doing individual sleds. For example, Misfits and OBA. So we're going to see a real variety, and some teams who are going to put their hands on this bad boy for the first time today.
Lauren, I love calling it a replica. It makes it seem like it's a collector's item.
Or a smaller version.
Jamie, how do we tackle it?
These teams are going to have to manage your muscle ups. So when you get there, if you're not planning on going unbroken, you're going to have to be smart about how you break those up in your reps and also how much time you take in between those. And the second thing, push the pace, literally and figuratively. You are going to have to push the pace on the worm clean and jerks and physically across that line on that Bob.
14:35 is the time to beat. We have an 18-minute cap. Invictus, as your overall leader, is in the middle of the field in lane 5. East Nashville, the crew from the Proven Training Camp in lane 4, trying to make some moves. They were the heavy favorite coming in. Take a look at CrossFit Walleye, our Wild Health team to watch. They had a great morning.
They did. They're coming in 4th position in Test 6, 3rd in Test 7, 200 points up for grabs today. We know the girls are strong. Sam Stewart, great pulling strength. Pushing strength, well, we'll wait and see.
Underway with our test presented by G-Shock here, the official watch of Noble, giving you the chance to win a new G-Shock watch, a CrossFit Level 1 seminar, and over $400 in CrossFit swag. Visit gshock.com/CrossFit G-Shock, the official watch of the Noble CrossFit Games. This is a Big Bob push all the way down the field, 126 feet. As Lauren mentioned, Big Bob weighs 1,188 pounds. For a little bit of perspective for you, the Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs starting defensive line weighs 1,170 pounds. You are pushing the Chiefs defensive line down the field.
And interesting, you see right off the bat in CrossFit Invictus, they're going to break this Bob push up into 42-foot segments instead of going unbroken all the way. So we'll see how strategy comes into play here.
The other way to put this in perspective, as we look at teams of 4 moving the Big Bob down the field, to reposition the Bobs in between heats, it took the CrossFit Games event staff 10 people per Bob to move it. Ouch, or in the words of Roman Krennikov, hard. Let's check back in with Lauren Smith.
Guys, I caught up with Omnia, who were the last heat winners with the 1435, and I asked them the secret to success. And they said you need to break up these muscle ups smaller than you would have expected. That way, you can give absolutely everything on the worm and Big Bob.
Lauren, thank you. And Jamie, that makes a lot of sense because if you remember, Omnia broke several more times than CrossFit Krypton in the last heat and caught CrossFit Krypton in the last heat.
And that's the difference of taking a forced break versus a planned break. If you have this planned where you're going to come down, you rest, you know you can jump right back up. But when you are forced to come down because of a no rep, that is where you're going to run into problems.
Taking a look at lane 2, CrossFit OBA, they had the fastest bob push down from the start line, 126 feet. Took them 57 seconds to start out this test. Looking at Emily Lundberg on the left, Kelsey Keel on the right, who, by the way, at 265 pounds on her clean and jerk yesterday, set the CrossFit Live competition record for heaviest female clean and jerk and the CrossFit Games record for heaviest clean and jerk.
Now, another component that we haven't thought about that hasn't actually popped up in heat number 1 or 2 is the wind has really started to pick up here, and the rings have started to swing around on the Zeus rig. Jamie, I know you're not the tallest athlete of all time. How much more difficult is it being a shorter athlete when the rings are set at one height and you've got to try and settle them?
You see that some of the women out there and men have risers out there, but it is definitely going to play into you. Sometimes a teammate might have to help lift you up to get up to the rings, and every second counts out here. All these teams have mentioned every rep, every second, every test matters.
And not only that, it's the time you're hanging from the rings by the time your teammate goes and gets on theirs.
So we talked about strategy, right? And we had OBA push all the way to the finish line, maybe using their strengths, knowing that they have strong legs, and then they were going to take more breaks on their muscle-ups, while CrossFit Invictus took planned breaks in that bob push and went a little bit further deep in their muscle-up sets.
Well, watch strategy here working with the worm. OBA had gone touch and go to start. They've now taken a huge break. Andre Houdet's No Shortcuts team during semifinals went touch and go with the worm. And taking a look at them from the wide angle of the field, they are not going touch and go now. Text Jocko to 24672. That is Jocko to 24672. Get 30% off of your order at JockoFuel.com. It is a one-time use code, good through August 9th. Jocko, get some.
We think about teams moving now onto the bob for the push. OBA spend roughly, we'll say it's a minute, 57 seconds, a minute going all the way down. You'd expect their 3 segments on the way back to be roughly 20 to 25 seconds each one. Your time under tension, pushing that implement down the field, the faster you can do it, obviously, the less fatigue you're going to encounter.
Oh, absolutely. You want to get this work done as quickly as possible and give yourselves time to recover. You'll see some of the transitions, unlike before where athletes were sprinting back to the rig, you might see them walking back because they want to make sure that they are going to be fresh for these muscle-ups.
Looking at Oslo Navy Blue, very few teams out there have as much experience as they do on the big bob. Lauren talked about off the top teams that have big bobs or replica big bobs. Oslo Navy Blue kind of jerry-rigged one out of some yokes. They know how to train to be here, currently in second place and 40 points out.
I'll have to say they've probably been a little bit of a dark horse, and they've just been sitting away, chipping away nicely. They haven't really jumped up and surprised anyone with any great test results, but they are sitting pretty right now.
Navy Blue back up to their second grouping of 10 synchronized ring muscle-ups. The synchronicity at the top, so everybody must be locked out. It doesn't have to happen in sync. You just all have to get there before dropping into your next rep. Move fast, lift heavy. Also pushing the pace. Right now your leader is at 32 reps with Invictus and Navy Blue 1 rep back.
And when you think about a test like this with 3 rounds in it, it's not necessarily who is winning the first round or the second round. It comes down to the experience and who has saved some in their legs and to be able to finish this next round of muscle-ups. These athletes know that they still have 10 more muscle-ups on top of this.
Larry, I've got a couple judges' hands in the air.
We talked about the variety of pulling in these tests. Adrian Bosman, competition director, had them do strict muscle-ups into that ring support last night. Today, they get to do a kipping swing where they're going to get into a nice arch position, get into their hollow, and then transition over the top and lock out altogether.
How does that assist help progress the athlete further down the field, the kipping movement?
It definitely is going to help propel your body more. You're going to think about a pull-up. Doing 20 strict pull-ups versus 20 kipping pull-ups is going to be much more difficult.
They're your overall leaders in that white leaders jersey. Invictus has donned that uniform since test number 3. Devin Kim, former teen athlete, Brittany Weiss, Josh Alshama, and Jorge Fernandez, their second year together as a unit. And here's the problem, if you're some other team trying to catch a 40-point lead for CrossFit Invictus. They're not given ground. A third and a first in the 2 tests this morning. You can't catch somebody that's running faster than you.
I spoke with Josh Alshama before this earlier in the day, and he said they weren't, most of the events they were happy with, some they were not, which is an 8th place, still in the top 10 like you had mentioned. But consistency is the name of the game for this team.
Invictus has won at the CrossFit Games before. It was 1 before Mayhem. 2014 was when Invictus won the Affiliate Cup, and then the next year, Rich Froning entered the chat. But it would be an interesting return to Invictus's dominance if the year after Froning retired from competition, the San Diego affiliate made their way back to the top spot.
Everyone got a lot more excited, didn't they? And you think about consistency across the tests. If you are consistently going to go top 10 in every one of the tests here, a number of them between 10 and 20 tests at the CrossFit Games each year, consistently going in that top 10 position, you are going to progress well. You're probably going to be podium. If you've got no outliers, your results are going to show that exactly what Oslo Navy Blue have done. Invictus are just absolutely destroying this.
Jeremy, that's the name of the game. You look at the individual competition, Justin Medeiros, fittest man on earth the last 2 years with 1 individual test win. Invictus out front, moving to Big Bob with that worm. 15 worm clean and jerks completed. And this is the second segmented Big Bob push. It's another 42 feet. And then Invictus will head back to the ring muscle-ups for their 3rd round of 10 synchronized movements. Move Fast, Lift Heavy is in 3rd right now. East Nashville Proven, just to the right of Invictus, is in 2nd.
And speaking with Andrea Nisler, she said that they're very much excited for this classic CrossFit to come up in the programming, and this is very much so it. This is a gymnastics pull, an odd object lift, and a push. So this is going to be right in their wheelhouse.
It's not a walk, it's not a run. It's just kind of a urgent jog, not wasting time, but also catching your breath. Back to the Zeus rig.
We're talking here in tortoise type scenario here. Rings moving about a little bit. Wind still blowing a fair bit, cooling things down on the competition floor, but making things difficult once the athletes do get to the rings.
And going back to our recipe for success, did you manage your muscle-ups in their earlier sets to be able to finish strong on this last set of 10?
Invictus is staring down the barrel of another test win. They would have to put forward their slowest round by far to not catch Omnia's 14:35, and by a lot.
Straps for the rings, an important factor as well. The shorter the rings, Jamie, the easier it is. So these long straps, a lot more controlled with your midline stabilization once you do get on top.
Absolutely. You're going to think about, with these long straps, they're going to move, right? A lot more movement with your body. Once you do get to the top, you want to make sure that you are kipping out of that dip as well to help assist you to the very top, especially if you have to wait there for your teammates.
Big break, though, here for Invictus. It looks to be planned the way that they're communicating with one another. Devin Kim just had a long look to Brittany Weiss. They nodded before remounting the rings. Oslo Navy Blue, center of your screen here, in 2nd place overall. East Nashville has jumped in front of Invictus. And these are valuable points. Proven's got to go. They have to do work to catch Invictus. And beating them by 1 position will help. It won't take a huge bite out of the deficit. But they need all the help they can get to try to climb up the leaderboard with tests evaporating.
And this is where that push the pace comes into play. Who can make it hurt? Who wants to go through that grunt work and grind through these last set of worm clean and jerks, especially on that bob push, and who saved enough in the tank to finish strong?
Oh, Jeremy Proven can make it hurt.
Oh, can't they what? We can do it, Tim Paulson.
I mean, the cycle rate is pretty incredible here for East Nashville. On the left side, you can see Invictus and the white and red leaders jerseys on the right.
Well, the problem is you go out too hot, you're relying on everything to fall into place and your fitness to fall into place to finish strong. But if you leave something in the tank, you can pace it really well and speed up for that last round.
And especially if you do, we want, that is the name of the game, but also the physical part of this, but the mental aspect of this is very important because you know your body is hurting. But if you can will yourself to pick up one more rep and keep on moving, that's going to make a huge difference.
About a minute and a half until the time to beat. One more 42-foot bob push segment after these 15 worm clean and jerks. Great dichotomy here between the Proven crew and Invictus. Second year together for Invictus. Proven, while extremely veteran, they're a new team together, and they don't live in the same place. So this is really the first team test, so to speak, where everyone is moving one implement together. Nisler, Paulson, Williamson, Baracchino, they have moved as a unit. Now can they move the bob faster than Invictus? Dig deep and drive. Invictus is unrelenting. They saw the challenge and rose. How do you win the CrossFit Games? You do it just like that. Invictus will remain your leader heading into the Coliseum.
Oh, come and get us.
You want a challenge, there it is. You see your opposition, their opposing team right next to you. Who can grind that out? And Invictus was able to do that.
Talking about grizzly bears earlier, Joel. Poke the bear with Invictus, they come home strong. What a last push. I'd love to get the split time on that last segment, but that was quick.
$13:49, almost a full minute better than Omnia in heat number 2. Oslo Navy Blue. Second place overall, working their bob to the finish. There's no ground to be gained though. The only team they're chasing is already done. So Navy Blue will be looking up the standings as we head into our next test.
And you see what this is doing to these team members. They are crossing that line and just absolutely falling to the ground because their legs are smoked from that push.
If you think about team versus individual, Jamie, and you've experienced both. With a team, you've got your worm cleaner jerks and this bob push to get through. You sort of rally a little bit more mentally and physically when you've got 3 team members you don't want to let down.
Oh, that's the biggest part about team. The beautiful part about the team is you don't want to let your teammates down. You want to make sure that you are doing everything you can to not let each other. That's the worst thing that could actually happen. And I'm sorry to my teammates for all the times I did. They make a switch here.
I think that's the first time we've seen a rearrangement on the bob. CrossFit Walleye, who, Jamie, we highlighted at the top, they have struggled here. They're going to be able to finish. We have plenty of time until the cap, almost 2 full minutes.
The beauty of the team is that you pick each other up and you can play into each other's strengths and weaknesses. You know that everyone is going to be a little bit different, but you pick each other up no matter what.
OBA is still out there. So too is Prestanda. Invictus, right now with your win. Proven second, no shortcuts third. Omnia, its time from the last heat, holds up for 4th. Prestanda moving after those final 15 worm clean and jerks, and Alex Alebro at the front of the pack. with Victor Langsford moving this sled. It does seem like the last push has been significantly easier for everybody.
Oh, the finish line is inside, Joel.
Like you're exhausted, you've got nothing left, and yet it still moves.
They've got those big fans at the end of North Parks putting cold water on you.
Yes.
Athletes haven't moved from there either.
There goes Prestanda. Sixth place qualifiers out of the European semifinal. And OBA is the only team still out there with 30 seconds left to go. This is one of those things you've all experienced if you've done CrossFit in your affiliate. You've got 20 seconds left and one thing to do. Can you get it done before class is over?
Come on!
15 seconds for OBA. Kelsey Keel and Joey Tortora driving up top. You've got to get across the entirety of the blue segment. And OBA falls just short. Time counts.
They're impressing me test after test after test, learning some lessons from last year. And they have been outstanding.
Invictus continues, though, to stand on top of the leaderboard. You can't fall out of first if you're in first. 13:49, a full 6 seconds. They just reached into the chest cavity of the team from Proven, grabbed their heart and turned it to stone.
We know this is going to be a hot and fast start. Invictus getting out to a great lead, battling with Proven. The first components of this: communication, synchronization. Team that has come back as a 4 from last year, falling into second place. Proven in a hurry. They want more points on the leaderboard, but once they got hold of the bob, Invictus dominance, powering forward. The leaders' jerseys will stay on, and another great finish from Invictus.
Down to Lauren Smith. She is with